Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DiChara coming to you live from downtown Flushing, New York with the new Joe DiChara Show and presents. I'm Joe DiChara, and this is my new show, and I am presenting How to Win a Business, and this is brought to you by my favorite sponsor, Bedrock University. Learn the ropes. Go to bedrockuniversity.com. I highly recommend it. And tonight's quote, folks, is something that stings a little now. Sometimes adversity is what you need to face in order to become successful. Zig Ziglar. Now, if this is true, folks, I think there's a whole bunch of us that are ready to become successful. Because I don't know about you, but tonight I just did something that I haven't done since I think February. And it seems like years ago. I went out to eat at a restaurant, and it was an unbelievable experience. Now I had to eat on the sidewalk, and it was really busy, and I thought that my plate was gonna like blow away, but uh, you know, it, it's it's strange how much you appreciate something after you've lost it. So I've decided, and I've been thinking about this for the last couple of days. I've decided to be very, very grateful for what I do have because I don't want to go through any more adversity, Mr. Ziegler. And that's why I like to talk about winning at business. And tonight, I am going to talk about what I'm going to talk about in depth tomorrow. And excuse me if I haven't introduced myself. If you don't know me, my name is Joe DiChara. I am a serial entrepreneur with a CPA license. I love talking about business. My first venture was when I was 10 years old. I started a casino in my driveway, and it was very, very successful. But my parents shut me down after one night. So I probably could have been like a Steve Wynn or something had they not shut me down. But I still have some resentments over that, but I'm working on it. But anyway, my life has become, my business has become my dream business. And I love to talk about it. And I love to talk about it a lot because I want to teach people what it's like to have a dream business. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm making millions and billions of dollars. I will, I hope to by the end of this month. I mean, the objective is always to make a lot of money. But my dream business didn't start out with the intentions of making, tens of millions of dollars. It did when I was 10. When I was 10, I wanted to make a gazillion dollars. I didn't even know how to add, but I just knew that I wanted a lot of money. And then things started to change where it became more about how did I want to live the rest of my life? Because as you get older, you start thinking about those kinds of things. And you start thinking, well, maybe, even if I got all that money, what the heck am I going to do with it all anyway? Maybe it's not that important. But yeah, it's still important, believe me. But the thing is, I decided that whether or not I got the tens of billions of dollars that I always wanted and deserved, I was still going to have my dream business. And that revolved around how I wanted to live, how I wanted to spend my time. And here I am, you know, 12 years later, almost to the day, and I said, I did it. I accomplished it. I have my dream business. Uh, Unfortunately, the dream business included being able to travel so that I could work from anywhere. And so if there's no travel, you can't. Anyway, it's still my dream business. I'm sticking to it. That's who I am. If I do have a webinar, so I have to start doing more self promotion, which I'm terrible at, and another thing that I'm working at. But in light of that, I am going to promote my free webinar tomorrow. And that's when I'm going to talk about the specifics about how anyone can have a dream business. Now, it's not easy. I'm not going to lie to you. And you're going to have to fill in a lot of the details. I can't give you all of the details. And I'm going to touch on some bullet points tonight. But it turns out that I can't create your dream business because it's unique to you. And you have to fill in all the details. Now, I can give you the information, all the tools. I can make it simple for you. That's my job. That's what somebody up above told me my job was a long time ago. I just didn't realize it. It's to try to help make business simple. Because now I'm going to go into my little thing here, and I'm pretty proud of this. That not only that I'm doing Zoom, no, this is StreamYard, that I'm doing live presentations, but I'm doing like PowerPoint stuff now. This is, I might start teaching how to do this stuff for a living. It's kind of fun, but anyway, the truth is, and this is another quote that I love, life is difficult. And basically, once you accept that, listen, life is tough, get over it. Then you can start enjoying life. And that comes from a book called The Road Less Traveled. Now, what we did as entrepreneurs was we started a business on top of life. So now we got to run a business and take care of life. So one of the things that they didn't teach me in CPA school was that, especially for a solopreneur, which is what the bulk of us are micro businesses, solopreneurs, and our lives intertwine with our businesses. There's no way around it. So what you just did, if you're not in business yet, it's like having that warning sign on the cigarette things. Not that ever stopped anyone from smoking, but I just like to warn people that, listen, if you think this is going to be a cakewalk, you're wrong. You're mistaken. Even the smallest of small businesses can be as frustrating as anything. Try to become an Amazon affiliate. Now, how do I know this? Because I thought it was easy. I was the ice cream man before I graduated from college with my accounting degree. I decided to lease an ice cream truck as a real business. You know, those are actually real businesses. They're all sole proprietors, and that's what I was. I didn't even know about corporations back then, but I leased a truck. I bought, candy, and it was one of the best businesses I ever had. Very profitable, but limiting geographically, because let's face it, I mean, the ice cream is going to melt and there's a cost involved. But anyway, I was the ice cream man. I thought it was easy. I thought all businesses were easy until about 6 months into my career, my CPA career, when I got a tax warrant sent to me, and it had a big red stamp on it, tax warrant. And as far as I knew, it was an arrest warrant. And I thought that I was in trouble, seriously. I was working for a CPA firm, and I was too embarrassed to ask anybody for help until, after 3 days, I went to somebody, and it was a simple solution. But what I found out was that it wasn't that easy. It wasn't as simple as I thought it would be. And it turns out that this is normal. This is normal. It's normal to get a letter from the government because they want to keep track of stuff. But it was heart-wrenching. It was fear, anxiety, and I'll never forget that, because that was like my indoctrination into real entrepreneurship. And, you could look at all the statistics, but even Forbes says, 8 out of 10 businesses fail. I think it's a lot higher. My friend John Limbacher says, you can't give business enough time and that they'll all fail, which is sort of the truth, unless you're one of those rare business entrepreneurs that can build a business that will outlive you. If you think about it, without you, there's no business. And that business, you can call it failing or dying or whatever, but there is no more business. And it doesn't have to be like that unless it's by choice. Sometimes you just have a business and nobody wants to take it over. Although most businesses are still sellable, and that's another thing. And there's, all different types of businesses are sellable, and they don't have to be tangible brick and mortar businesses. But that's the truth. So what I found out, that setting up and running a business is complicated, and most people make wrong decisions, including myself. Now, I don't make the same kind of wrong decisions, but they're still wrong decisions. I don't make wrong decisions on, my bookkeeping system, my accounting, keeping my records up to date. I've made tons of other mistakes, so it's not easy. So how do we cover all the bases? So if you've decided, I don't care what Joe DeChara says, I'm going into business. And how do you find out, like, what I didn't know? Now, how could I have known that I was supposed to file a sales tax return? I was a kid. I was never in business before. Well, maybe if I asked some questions. How do we know that we don't know? You can't just start a business and make a to-do list, because you're going to wind up in a black hole, just like every other business. So how do we cover this? Where do we go? Because there's too much information. Try to do a Google search on how to start a business. Go to the SBA website and try to figure it out on your own. Because even to this day, I am still trying to whittle down everything to the fundamentals. Like, what does a business need? The bare necessities to beat those odds, to not be one of the 8 out of 10. What do we need to do? What can we change? How can we educate each other? What tools do we need? A lot of us, myself included, go out and try to buy business. And I don't mean buy a business. I've done that. I've sold businesses. I've bought businesses. It's much more fun to start a business than to just buy somebody else's mess. But, so what most people do, what I did, was, what I mean by that is I try to buy customers. How do I get customers? I just want to pay for them. Just tell me, how much do they cost? Can I just put an ad in the paper and have them call me? Because that's what I used to do. That was easy. I built a couple of accounting practices just by putting ads in Penny Savers and Newsdays, and I got my phone to ring. But things aren't like that anymore, folks. Things aren't like that anymore. Everything is instant. We got 3 gazillion social media experts. We got marketing plans. We got all kinds of stuff. But the truth is that most of them become a waste of time and money, because we forgot about the fundamentals. And that's what I want to go through. Because there are things, up until even a couple of years ago, that I didn't have in place, that when I looked at it, I said, what is wrong with it? How come I'm not getting the results that I want? It was glaring. It was pretty obvious. because I'm going to go through some of them. And, I'm transparent, so I'm going to admit to you where I was lacking and how I filled the gaps. But without these little pieces, and they may seem little or insignificant, not important, but they all were for me. And what difference does that make? What sets me apart? Well, I think the fact that I've seen directly and indirectly the internal workings of thousands of businesses. And I was able to recognize the patterns that these people make money and they seem to all do the same thing, which is basically what Napoleon Hill did, only on a much larger scale. So I'm just going by my own personal experience, and it works for me. So hopefully some of this information will work for you. So, and I see there are some people, my friend Elizabeth, are on Facebook, and I'm still not doing the interactive thing, but apparently I can see some of the postings. Some people, I can't see your name, but if you have a question, actually you can post it in here. And if you're watching live, give me a hashtag live. And if you're watching a replay, give me a hashtag replay, because that it all boosts my ratings. This is all about ratings, so I get more people to follow me on Facebook. Anyway, that's what they're telling me. So, and whoever you are, yeah, honesty, because I tried lying and I'm just no good at it. So I figured it's better to let me just be honest, because if I'm lying, people are going to know. So it's easier to just tell the truth. So these are some of the fundamentals. Oh, and I forgot about this again. My PowerPoint. I was so happy about the PowerPoint thing, and you see now I got to go back and edit it, obviously. But and this was just another point. I could probably take this out because it's superfluous. So here's fundamental number one, which I only learned about 12 years ago, that how important this was. It's not a mission statement. Okay, I don't care what you call it, but you need something. I use what we call a definite chief aim. This is Bruce Lee's example. You see how short, concise, and right to the point it is. I have a similar one. Actually, it's like twice as long. I gotta, condense it. But the more precise and focused your statement can be, is key. And that came actually from Andrew Carnegie, who told Napoleon Hill that the more laser focused you are, the higher your chances of success are. So without a clearly defined, and it's got to be written, and I believe handwritten, and there's other reasons for that. There were studies about people that, if you journal, you're more likely to be successful. And it's not that journaling itself, or maybe it is the act of journaling, because you're actually, you got to look at what you're thinking about. But anyway, my recommendation is to handwrite out a statement. I have a worksheet. If you want to go to Time with Joe and book a chat with me, I can get you the worksheet and help you. Actually, I love helping people create their own definite chief aim, because it's the starting point. It's the starting point of success. Fundamental number two is something that I had no clue about, and it seemed like so obvious. So bookkeeping and tax preparation is something that I know people need. I mean, you could do a tax return without bookkeeping, but it's pretty hard. I mean, I know a lot of accountants that do that, but they're, they're making up numbers. Okay, so like, I know if you're in business, God damn it, you need bookkeeping, you need tax preparation. It needs to be done by a professional. So why aren't you buying it from me? Don't you understand? They needed it, but they don't necessarily want it. So it's a hard sell. It's a hard sell. So I had to turn them into products that people wanted. I'm still doing bookkeeping and tax preparation, but I'm not selling those products. What I'm selling right now is my complete $47 a month CFO services. Because I'm just going to take over all of your bookkeeping, all of your accounting, so you don't have to worry about it. I mean that is my product today. And I had to configure it in a way that is honest because it's a real product. I will do, and this is for startup businesses. So if you're doing 20 million a year, I'm not doing your bookkeeping for $47 a month. But the thing is, it didn't matter how much marketing I did if I didn't have the right products. So I created Bedrock University, a free product. I have a mastermind now that it's been free, but it's going to be $27 a month. And I also have the $1,000 a month coaching product. And a couple of years ago, I didn't have any of that stuff because all I was selling was bookkeeping and tax preparation. And I was trying to sell coaching, and I didn't even have a coaching product. So think about that. I wanted to be a business coach, but I didn't have a coaching program. So, that's fundamental number two. Fundamental number three is you need to know who you're selling it to. You need to know everything about them. They have to be a person. My friend Sue Brook went through this Friday in a training about finding your avatar. We're not talking about a market segment. We're not talking about women between the ages of 35 and 55 that are getting divorced. That's not an avatar. An avatar is a description of a person that when you see them in a mastermind group, in a networking event, you recognize them as that's the person that I want to do business with. Now you can have your main avatar, which I have a main avatar, and then I have secondary avatars. So I do business with a lot of different types of people, but I target specific avatars. So that's very important if you want to save a lot of time and money on your marketing and networking. Know who you want to do business with. Fundamental number four is your legal structure, which nobody seems to really understand for some reason because it's so simple for me. But you can't, if you're doing business as a sole proprietor, book a free chat with me at timewithjoe.com, and I'll tell you why you should not be a sole proprietor. But that's a fundamental. This is not because I'm an accountant, okay? It's the truth. And actually, a big part of the reason why I became an accountant was because I didn't want to have to go to somebody to learn about my numbers. I didn't want to have to go to I wanted to know how to do my own taxes. Which now I found out that if I go into business, I tell clients that you don't have to learn how to do your own taxes. That's crazy. So, I went to school because I wanted to be an entrepreneur and not have to go to somebody to do my taxes, not realizing that I was going to become an accountant. That was like a trick that they played on. So you need an accounting system, though, because if you can't keep track of stuff, how are you going to know? You can't just go by your bank account, folks. And I have a whole complete financial setup that I do with people, starting with their own personal budget, their personal balance sheet. And that's part of your accounting system. Because again, as a solopreneur, it's directly tied to your business. Now, I'm going to run out of time here, so I'm going to go quickly. Number 6, you need a coach. You need a coach. There's no two ways around it. Now, this could be a paid coach, it could be but you need somebody to hold you accountable and to look at your stuff and to help you improve. Because if you're not improving, you're standing still, and a coach is the easiest way to do that. You need an advisory board. Don't just rely on one person. I have a team. I have a team of people, experts. Now, that doesn't mean that we have a meeting and we have like a board of directors meeting. None of them know that they're on my advisory board, but they are. So you need people around you. You need something called a sales funnel. And this came up in a couple of masterminds this week with people that are just starting businesses, because it's hard to say, like, okay, what do I do next? Should I still be doing marketing, or should I focus on my clients? Should I do some more self-development? Like, when do I do what? Well, the truth is that if you're not always doing marketing, then something's not right. Now, you could have reasons for not doing the marketing, like you got enough clients and you really don't want to grow anymore. And I've seen businesses do that. That's fine. I've gotten that way plenty of times with my accounting practice, where there was only so many clients that I could handle. But you still got to be marketing. You could slow down the faucet. You want to still be sending people into your sales funnel, and that starts with those products that start with the free product. You introduce your prospects into easily doing business with you. And so I've known about the sales funnel for a long time. I just didn't really know how to put it into practice. And I think that's it for the fundamentals. Like I say, every training, if you're watching this, take action. Otherwise, if you've learned anything and you don't put it into action, it's worthless. And if you want to connect with me, like I said, you can go to Time with Joe. And if you're watching this tonight or tomorrow before 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, go to howtowinabusiness.com, not .com. That's a typo, obviously. I'm gonna have to talk to my PowerPoint people. And if you don't make this one, I'll be doing them every month, but this one's the most important one because it's tomorrow. All right, folks. So thank you. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. God bless you. Over and out. And let's have a great week. Thank you.